Hello, beautiful Leo. Welcome to your 2025 extensive tarot reading. I am Elena Valdez, and I'm so happy to have you here today. And I want to get right into this reading because, Leo, I'm warning you, it's going to be a long reading because it's so extensive. I will be utilizing the 12 houses of the astrological wheel. I'll be utilizing those themes and combining it with the tarot. And I will explain what each house means in astrology and as we go along. So let's get right into it. And I'm going to start your reading with the general energy here for Leo for 2025. And please remember to adjust gender how it best resonates for you. And yeah, let's get into it. All right. Ooh, Four of Cups. That is your overall energy for 2025. So, a couple of things, beautiful Leo, what this means. Let me show you. So, the Four of Cups, a couple of things that we want to be watchful of this year because it's a combination of a couple of things. Number one, the Four of Cups can mean an energy of becoming a little bit more inward when it comes to the affection and the love that we share to others. Maybe even a bit more reserved when it comes to how much we give to others. This can also be about creativity that we are focusing on behind closed doors and being a little shut out from the world because we're focusing on something else. Sometimes the Four of Cups can be an indication that maybe our heart is needing to recuperate from something, maybe rest from something that has caused dissatisfaction. So this could be a bit of a caution, right? To pay attention to the things that do not bring us satisfaction, beautiful Leo, here in the year of 2025. It can also be that you yourself are starting to really look at the things that are not satisfying to you and maybe becoming a bit more reserved, because you're in the process of making decisions, right, as to what that means for you. But the overall energy of the Four of Cups is cultivating your own sense of satisfaction that's not reliant on other people here. That's the crux of this card. So for a lot of you, there's an energy here that's really focusing on really like almost detached from topics that have to do with emotion, right? And it doesn't have to be love, right? It can be restricting or reserving our energy and our love and our affection from family, neighbors, co-workers, spouses, lovers. It's going to be different for all of you. But the purpose of the Four of Cups, or the reason it's here, is because on some levels, this is universe agreeing with you that it is time in some area of your life, Leo, here in 2025, to pull back from giving too much and to pay attention to the energies, the people, the situations that are not making you feel your best, so that you can do something about it, right? So that you are able to take action and move a different direction. All right, so let's get started with your houses here. I'm going to first lay the cards down. I have already pre-shuffled your cards, so we can get right into it, Leo. All right. We'll start with the first house, the second house, third, fourth, fifth, sixth, seventh, eighth, ninth, and I'll fix it up a little bit, okay? Don't worry. 11th house and the final 12th house for Leo. So I'm going to make it pretty for you. I know that you appreciate things that look good, Leo. And I apologize if it does come out a little bit crooked. It may. You can't quite see what you're seeing. All right, beautiful Leo. We're going to start with the first house. And the first house is the most significant house because it's the you, it's the I am. It is how other people see you, their first impression of you. It's what we choose to do with our physicality. It's our outlook in life. And so let's see what you got here. You got the Two of Swords, my beautiful Leo. So the Two of Swords is being at a crossroads, something potentially being confusing here in the year of 2025 in terms of your approach, in terms of how do people really see me? I think there's either an illusion around you, or people may be mirroring back to you things that are confusing, right? Because the first house can also speak of what we receive, the mirroring from others, the projections and the whatnots, right? And when the Two of Swords is in our first house, it's an indication that we may need to really shut out the noise. It's almost like someone in your environment, Leo, trying to convince you, because remember, it's the first house, so it's how other people view us, right? And maybe the presumptions, assumptions, projections of other people are potentially confusing you or trying to confuse you here in 2025 as to who you truly are. It's almost like a little gaslighting, right? So it's a year of staying clear within yourself of who you are, what is your identity. But for some of you, there is a little confusion about that. Like there's like a change happening in your world that's causing like, who am I now? Right? Because the first house is the I am. Who am I? What path do I take? Yeah, and with the Five of Pentacles, this could be due to again, this goes back to dissatisfaction, beautiful Leo. So there's something here that as we open up 2025, there's something that is not feeding your soul, something that's making you feel not good enough, something that's isolating you. It's almost like stealing your sunshine, right? Because you're a Leo, you're here to shine. And so there's a sadness here of like, who am I? What's my purpose? What is the reason, right? And trying to figure out and find the key to exit this realm that doesn't feel good. Sometimes this comes up, Leo, when we're in the middle of transition, right? So this can be divorce, this can be even marriage. Marriage, as great as it is, it changes things, right? It makes us question, well, who am I now that I'm married, now that I'm in this new relationship, now that I have moved in with this individual? Where do I start? Where do they begin? Or now that I'm divorced, who am I now? Now for some of us, name changes, right? Now because name change, by the way, is part of identity, right? Part of the first house. So I feel like for some of you, even financially, there's a starting over here with the Five of Pentacles. But then look at what you get there, the Knight of Pentacles. So at first, beautiful Leo, at the beginning of this year, or as we are approaching the new year here, or the first few months potentially of the new year, you're in this transitional phase. But then look, the Knight of Pentacles tells me that the decisions you're making, the direction that you're moving towards, and the path that you ultimately end up choosing will inevitably give to your future stability, finances, and just your overall health and wealth, your overall peace of mind. Because the Knight of Pentacles, it's not just about financial security. Now, this is financial security that happens slowly and with time. It's not overnight rich, right? But it does provide and it does promise consistency. But it's also about peace, okay? So whatever you're going through right now, whatever you start to transition out of or into here in January, look at how beautiful. This is where you this is the purpose of these feelings, because you end up at the Knight of Pentacles, stability, security, inner peace. The second house, beautiful Leo, is about the income we earn. It's about our self-worth, things we hold valuable, the things that we place value into. So like the investments we own of our own accord, our own resources, the things that we have to offer. And sometimes it's also about the things we own, like artwork, jewelry, the land we own, that type of thing. But more importantly than any of that, it's about our value system, our self-worth, self-esteem, all of that. And you have justice. Yeah, so there could be some contract here, beautiful, that shifts for you, right? Because justice is associated with the sign of Libra. Libra is associated with the seventh house of relationship and contracts, okay? So in the second house here, it may be that in 2025, the things that you are valuing are more balanced in relationships. But also, remember, this is about finances. So some of you may be going through the process of making sure that everything is fair and square when it comes to the money you're earning, maybe the money that you are receiving from a separation or from a new connection or a partnership. But then here you also have the Ten of Pentacles. So this is a year where you're going to be focused. You're going to be focused on, remember, it's also value system, right? So this is going to be about, what do I fairly deserve to charge or for my services? Or am I fairly receiving the salary I deserve? And the Ten of Pentacles amplifies that and confirms that this is a year to really focus on making sure that not only are you getting paid enough, but that you are getting paid what your true value is here. Is that fair, right? And this could be from your clients. This can be from the products you sell, your services, your salary. But that is going to become very important for you. But it also confirms that you're going to have everything you need here in 2025 with the Ten of Pentacles popping up here in your second house of resources. All right, and then we move into the third house. And the third house is the house of communication. It also speaks about our siblings, our neighbors, our neighborhood, the marketing we do for our business, the communication we have with others, and short distance travel as well. And you have the Four of Cups. And remember, the Four of Cups was your overall energy. Okay, so this can be some dissatisfaction or a feeling of needing to retreat and be more reserved with people in your neighborhood, your neighbors maybe even your siblings or cousins, people that are family to you, that are close relatives, because that's also the third house. But also you may be feeling like you need to pull back a little bit in just your communication in general with certain people that fall in the third house. This could be about you maybe being bored with the type of communication that you're having with these people. It's almost like, oh, stimulate my mind, please. Okay, you can also just be bored with your neighborhood here. You may feel like you want a change from where you live. Like you're not being fully emotionally stimulated here or mentally stimulated, considering it fell in the third house. And then with the Star, and I'm sorry, my deck was reversed, so let me do that. That shouldn't have come out that way. And with the Star, oh, this is beautiful. This is like you hoping and wishing for something better. And even though you're not super enthused about the themes of your third house, so where you live, your neighbors, your neighborhood, your siblings, communication, you have faith and hope that it is going to improve. This is like a beautiful card to get in any house, because what this says is that you believe, you're praying, however it is that you pray, whether you believe in God, whether you believe in goddesses, the universe, whatever you hold sacred, you're putting faith into, and you're believing it's going to change that realm. You're really focused on that. All right, let's move into and I'll pull back. I'll pull cards depending on how the reading unfolds, okay? So I'll get more clarifiers. But the fourth house is the house of the mother or the maternal parent. It's also the house of the home we live in. It speaks about topics about the people we live with, memories of our childhood, our ancestry, our lineage, it's one of the hidden houses, one of the water houses. So a lot of the deep psychological things related to our roots is the fourth house. And you have the Three of Wands. So when the Three of Wands pops up in our home sector, this can be an indication that you're really feeling the need to move away from what's comfortable, what's familiar, like you're ready to take a chance and a risk on something new. And Wands being fire, this is about being inspired. This is inspiration. So this can be twofold. It can be either that you are bringing the outside world into your home life, like you're bringing either other people that are different from you, different cultures, or inviting people from other worlds and other cultures to come visit you, or you quite literally making home somewhere else that's not familiar here in 2025. Beautiful Leo. And it's also fire, right? So it's like allowing your creativity and whatever inspires you to guide you in terms of where to go this year. I feel like some of you are going to be, a lot of you actually are going to be traveling this year. Yep. And you probably won't be traveling alone, beautiful Leo. You'll be either doing this with your family or with friends or with people that you have something in common with that you're working towards together. It's almost like home for you is going to become home elsewhere and with other people, and you're going to be working towards a common good together. This can mean that when you move or when you travel or move somewhere, by the way, I'm going to use this opportunity to plug the fact that I am an astrocartographer. I do help people find places in the world, best places in the world to live or relocate to based on their personal astrology. I'll go ahead and make sure I have the link down in the description below because I do feel that a lot of you are going to be thinking about that and concerned with that this year. But in any case, wherever you choose to move to or travel to, you're going to find a sense of home there along with the people you work with there or meet there as well. Now we move into the fifth house. The fifth house is the house of leisure. It's the house of creativity. It's the house that speaks of our children as well as the businesses we create, our entrepreneurship as well. And the things that basically make us shine, right? Where we express creativity. Oh, beautiful. And you have the Queen of Pentacles, which is very grounded. It's about you being at peace with those things, whether it's your children, whether it's the creative that you bring to the table, your business. I feel that a lot of you are going to be focusing on entrepreneurship this year as well, and really focusing on earning wealth in that area. But also your creative is going to be more authentic to usefulness and practicality. It's almost like whatever it is that you're creating that's creative here is going to there's going to be a usefulness to it is what I'm getting here, Leo, with the Queen of Pentacles in there. And then the Fool. So this is about taking risks. Oh, by the way, I failed to mention, I'm so sorry, the fifth house is also about our love affairs, romances, flings, that type of thing, the short affairs that inspire us, but also a longer term romance, but not necessarily committed like in the seventh house, which we'll get to in just a bit. So for some of you, this is about taking a risk with something a bit more grounded, peaceful, but also the Fool here is taking risks in the hobbies you do, the creative, the fun that you have. But again, it's not foolish. It feels very grounded. Taking risks that are calculated here with the Queen of Pentacles. It's a different kind of risk. It's a risk that's calculated, that inspires you, that fuels your heart and your soul, but it has purpose and reason. It's not like hasty, okay? It's not hasty risk. It's calculated risk. All right, and then we move into your sixth house. And the sixth house, Leo, is about our routine, our day-to-day work that we do. It's also that it represents health, our nutrition, how we do those things, right? Those day-to-day routine. It's also about service. Also, the sixth house represents our pets as well. And you have Temperance. You know, this is an interesting card to get in the 6th house because it means a few things. Number one, Temperance is traditionally associated with the sign of Sagittarius. Sagittarius rules the 9th house of expansion, higher learning, as well as travel. And so your routine can very well be associated with expansion. So your day-to-day routine, beautiful Leo, could indeed be about traveling and expanding, maybe learning new things about your health, or becoming a master, because Temperance can also indicate mastership, becoming a master in the areas of nutrition, fitness, health, or something of the like, right? For those of you who do work that's in the health industry, this is about finding foreign ways or new elevated ways of doing that thing. Okay, let's see what else we get in the 6th house. This can also speak about what you do at your work day to day, like finding ways to balance your feminine, your masculine here. But also expanding the knowledge of cultural, like the people you work with here. And then you have the moon. This is fascinating because if you notice, we have sun here, we have moon here, which is about balancing male, female, and then you got the moon here. So this could be something to do with learning topics of the feminine. But also this receptivity here in your 6th house of health. This is almost about pulling back, Leo, like pulling back from, you know, the conventional ways of doing health. This is about being more internal. This is about really listening to the tune of your, like your lunar tunes, right? Because remember, it is here with Temperance, and Temperance is about balancing. So this could be about balancing hormones. This could be about balancing your masculinity by being more feminine, by being more receptive, by doing less to help your health. So I feel like some of you Leos here are changing the approach of how you do your day-to-day routine, like maybe moving away from a hustle mindset to a more receptive, okay, let's see what I'm feeling, right? Because the moon is very much about what we feel, what our intuition tells us we should be doing. So your health this year could be driven by your intuition. Like the foods you eat can also be driven by your intuition. Like, what does your intuition say works for you, not what social media tells you to do? All right, let's move into the 8th house. The 8th house is the house of intimacy. It's the house of death, rebirth, transformations, the deepest psychology. It's another hidden house. It is one of the deepest houses. It has so many themes within it. It also incorporates other people's money, other people's resources, like the alimony we receive or the loans that we receive from others, mortgages, funding for like crowdfunding, that type of thing. Also taxes, topics of taxes and inheritance are here. But the crux is psychology. Ooh, and with the Lovers in the house of merging and intimacy, you know, this could be a year, Leo, that you really dive into something very hot and spicy and intimate and deep here with the Lovers. It's also about making a choice between two paths in the areas of intimacy or in the areas of other people's resources. But we're going to get a little more info to see what theme that falls under here for you. Let me see. And we have the Tower. Beautiful Leo. You've got something pretty intense and powerful coming here. There may be some endings or some restructuring when it comes to money we receive from other people. This can be a spouse. This can be a business partner. This can be some kind of support, financial support. But I think the reason that this may potentially end is because there's something new starting here for you, or it's to pursue this intimacy that it's almost like a feeling of you can't look away, like there's something or someone that you need to approach, and therefore going after this thing that inspires us is gonna force something else to come apart in the area of intimacy or other people's finances. It's almost like choosing something or someone means that support, financial support from somewhere needs to end. All right, so let's move into our 9th house. And the 9th house is higher learning. It's also topics of religion, topics of mastering, educating, like the things, the topics that we learn in the 3rd house, we teach in the 9th house. Also, it's foreigners, foreign land, languages, all of that good stuff. And you have the 5 of Swords. So there's a little bit of, here, let me get one more card for that. This is about our belief system being challenged, Leo. This is about being a little stressed out. Maybe even others challenging us and causing us stress about a path that we have taken because it doesn't line up with their beliefs, or you know, the doesn't line up with what they think is right or wrong. And with the 10 of Wands, there's like a walking away. Yeah, so it's almost like there's something that comes apart here in the 8th house. And then the 10th house, she's literally, look, she's got her bags packed and she's moving on, but it's Wands. So that means she's moving on to something that inspires her, right? Or moving away from things that have felt so heavy and burdensome that now you're like, bye, ciao, I'm out of here. But in the 9th house, remember, we're talking about higher learning, foreign lands, spirituality, the right and wrongs and belief systems, all of that, and things we are learning. I feel that some of you, again, because we have to take into account all the meanings of the 9th house, right? And with the 5 of Swords and the 10 of Wands, I feel that some of you who have entered into long-term educational programs like MBAs or PhDs or grad school, whatever it is for you, some of you are like at the tail end of it and you're done. You're like over this shit. You're like, I'm so done with this. It's so much anxiety, so much work. And you're at the tail end of receiving this degree or educational process that you've gone through. It's like you're almost there, and you this is why you've already packed up, because the end is near and you can see it. For others of you, a move or a decision you've made is just causing tension in your family environment because your way of looking at life is not lining up with others, and maybe there's judgment in there, right, that you have to deal with. All right, so then we move into the 10th house. Is that right? Let's see. You know what? I totally skipped here. This is actually not the 8th house. This is the 8th house. This is the 7th house. But funnily enough, it still translates similarly. Let me explain. Because the 7th house is relationship, it's partnership, it's marriage, it's all of that. You got the Lovers. So you are needing to make a decision and take a new path in love here. And something will need to come apart. So that still tracks. But now in the 8th house, it changes a little bit. And yes, the resources will change if something needs to change for you to go towards a different relationship. But actually here in the 8th house, yeah, it's still about something. There's like something ending and causing stress. And I think it's financial because it's other people's money, but it's still related. So I'm still going to stick to the original translation, or not translation, but interpretation that I had for you, because it's still very similar, with the exception of this is not for the 9th house. This is for the 8th house. So there's something stressful here about other people's money, about the receiving of other people's, and the possibility of it ending here with the 10 of Wands. And I do think it's ending because, again, with the Lovers in the Tower, something has ended. And the reason it's ended because a new path has been chosen, possibly a new lover, a new spouse, a new situation, or just ending a marital contract or a commitment contract here, or starting something new. So in the 8th house of other people's resources, this is also like packing up, things are ending, and it's causing stress because you don't know what that's going to mean for you financially, right? So now we move into the ninth house. I'm sorry about that, Leo, but now we move into the ninth house, which is foreigners, foreign lands, foreign places, and also it's about mastering something and teaching it, as well as our belief system. Everything I said previously about this is really here. And you have the Two of Pentacles. So it's about balance. Again, it's so similar. So it's about balancing, like really, this is about really maintaining our equilibrium while potentially being judged, beautiful Leo, for something that has taken place here in the 8th and 7th house. So this is about maybe other people's ideas for us, very similar, coming up for us to, we need to stay grounded. This is a year, beautiful, that's about staying grounded, like staying in our own lane, not allowing other people's interpretations of us, right? You could also be balancing two locations of living, Leo. So this can be because the ninth house is also international or a foreign land. So you could be balancing living in two places with the Two of Pentacles, because the Pentacles also represent us physically. So you could be balancing that as well. You could also be balancing a new language that you're learning, or also some curriculum or higher learning that you're just like balancing out here, okay? Yeah, with Nine of Pentacles there. So you're trying to figure out something when it comes to either your education, your higher learning, being in another land, or also removing yourself and finding freedom and independence from the ideology that you grew up in. But this is also about finding freedom. For a lot of you, it's literally you've moved to a different land, or you're going to, you're trying to figure out how to balance the financial piece of that. What is that going to look like? If I move to a foreign land, what's that? How am I going to gain? Like some of you are literally leaving to a different country just to gain your freedom from something over here. But it proves to be successful. Whatever that is for you, whether this has to do with your ideology, like not letting others interrupt your belief system, Leo, or not letting others influence you, is what I want to say, with their criticisms of what is wrong and what is right? Like you're like, you know what, F you, I'm going to focus on what makes me feel good. I'm going to focus on my coin. I'm going to focus on the solution to earn money and balance myself through this big shift of either moving to a foreign land or following my own ideology of what I need to do for my own life. Okay, and then we move into, let's see, 10, 11, 12, yeah. So we move into the 10th house. The 10th house is about our social standing. It's about the reputation, fame, the way other people see us, the public, the way the public view us, but it's also about topics pertaining to the career. This can also be changes in status. So if we go through a divorce or a marriage, it changes our status, right? And there is a call here, beautiful Leo, to be very focused on strategizing maybe quietly. So for those of you who are planning to move internationally, or you're leaving your current marriage, or you're leaving your home here to travel with the Three of Wands because there's a lot of dissatisfaction, you're being encouraged here to do it in silence and do it strategically. And do it in a way where you're not letting too many people know what your plans are, Leo. I'm getting the sense that you have people in your circle that maybe are too involved with your life, Leo. And that's why here we get this 10 of Wands. This is why here we get this balance approach of like independence and not wanting to listen to other people's ideas. And you know that if you start to plan a change for yourself or a change of status, like maybe some of you are thinking about getting married or filing for divorce, because that does change your social status, or you're planning on leaving your job, or you're planning on starting a new job or applying for a new job, because this is career after all. then there is a necessity for you to keep it to yourself, Leo, and don't discuss even potentially with your friends. It's like you have people who are a little too obsessed with you, a little too willing to give you advice that you're not asking for, is what I'm getting here. And then you have the Seven of Cups. Yeah, so that's confirmation. You have a lot of options and choices and things that you're still deciphering through, that you're still trying to decide, do I want to leave this person? Do I want to marry this other person? Do I want to take that job? Do I want to leave this job? Do I want to start a business? You have a lot of options here, which in terms of what direction to take. And so that becomes even more important, to take your time and slowly strategize without other people's influence in this, so that you can get clear, because this is also a card of distraction. And so there's a need maybe not to speak to others about it until you get some kind of focused clarity on what you're going to do next. All right, and then your 11th house here. 11th house is about our friends, networks, associations. It can also speak about like social media, but mainly our associations, and it's also the house of hopes and wishes. And you got the Hermit. So again, it's a repeating theme. It's almost like you're needing to pull away from your sphere of influence, your network, your community, your friendships, to really reflect and make decisions and strategize. The Hermit is associated with Virgo, and Virgo is about the details and clarifying, and also, you know, strategizing too. And then you have the Hanged Man. This is so interesting because the Hangman is in reverse. And my deck, I double checked to make sure it is all upright, and it is. So the Hangman, when it's upright, it means that we need to pause and consider other people's point of view. But here it's in reverse. So you're being advised, Leo, this is not a time to consider other people's point of view. This is a time to go inward and reflect and decide for yourself. Yeah, some of you just got a lot of like people like just wanting to like tell you how to do your life. And so this is very clear. Just keep to yourself, keep your ideas for yourself. Not a time to consider other people's POV. This is about you. Look at how beautiful this card is. Look how gorgeous that is. Like, she's by herself reflecting. Please adjust gender, how it best resonates for you. But this is about really going inward to decipher what is important to you, Leo. What do you hold special and sacred? And what moves do you need to make regarding your networks, your friendships, your life in general, your hopes and wishes? And here with the Hanged Man in reverse, this is not a time to consider others. This is not a time about POV. Other people's point of view, no, this is about you. What do you need? Okay, and the 12th house, we end the reading with the 12th house. The 12th house is another hidden house. It can talk about our hidden talents. It can also talk about lands abroad, like overseas lands. It can overseas, I mean, and it can also talk about creativity that happens behind closed doors. Anything that happens behind closed doors, basically. It also can speak of like hidden enemies that we potentially have, but more than that, hidden talents. It's also a very spiritual house. It's connected with the sign of Pisces. And you have the Four of Wands. And the Four of Wands, look at this. It's happiness, it's fulfillment. It's almost like you're finding your happiness behind closed doors. It's also like behind the scenes that people are not aware. Again, it's a repeating theme, Leo. It's like you're being told, don't tell people your business. Have your happiness behind closed doors. Some of you are eloping. Some of you are literally eloping with this card. You're not telling anybody you're getting married. You're like, bye, I'm getting married. I found my boo, and none of you can have my boo. So I'm going behind doors, behind closed doors. I'm going to marry him or her, or them. So you are being advised again to keep your happiness to yourself. And a lot of your happiness in 2025 may be in secret. okay? And yes, for some of you, that means hidden affairs. For others of you, it just means you and your new person, for whatever reason, you have to keep it away from people, maybe because of beliefs, maybe culturally you're different, especially with the Tower being here in relationship. The Tower can symbolize people who are different from us, different foreign lands as well. And so here, that could be the reason why there's a 5 Swords. Maybe you're with somebody who is culturally different, right? So there's a reason. There's a reason it has to happen behind closed doors. But the 4 of Wands, not only is it about commitment and feeling happy, but it's also about feeling stable and secure and building lineage as well. So it's also about whatever strategy you have going on for the future, you're being told, yeah, do it behind closed doors. And the Knight of Wands, beautiful. This is tapping into your sensuality, your sexuality, your creative. This is you feeling free. Leo, your freedom, again, is going to happen either overseas, but mainly behind closed doors this year. It's not for anyone else to know about. You know, it's like, this is like you running wild. Look at that wild stallion in the background. Look at her just tapping into this creative drumming that she's doing. She's just going wild. Everything is just passion. This is about passion and fierce expression of self. That's when you are your best, Leo, when you're able to fully express who you are. And remember, your opening card was the 4 of Cups, your overall energy here, and your overall energy with the community that you belong to here, with the 3rd house of siblings, neighborhood, and neighbor, and hopes and wishes here of the Star, like wanting to come out of that oppression, right? And so here in the 12th house, you're finding that expression that you need. You know, it's like from oppression to expression is what's happening here. So what closing final card do we have here for our beautiful Leo? I'm excited for you, Leo. Do what makes you happy. That's the name of the game. And you may need to do it behind closed doors. Yeah, the Sage of Swords. This is about being mindful about what we communicate and what we keep to ourselves, and communicating only that which is necessary. Again, repeating pattern. Some of you also, the satisfaction, because these 2 cards are the same thing, right? Your overall energy and this card here of like boredom, dissatisfied, needing more. It's like longing for more, needing more affection, attention, accolades, more recognition, more of everything, right? Some of you, there's something here about communicating the lack of you receiving that, but also knowing when to minimize and not communicating it. All right, beautiful Leo, I hope this was helpful for you. And please remember to subscribe, comment, like. That would be amazing if you did. And I'll catch you back here again soon. And Happy New Year. Bye.